Hi, everybody. Hope people weren't up too late last night. So I had a good week of learning. I felt like Bootstrap was everything that I expected it to be, but was still very challenging. But it was kind of a more interesting kind of learning because I was able to accomplish more and more quickly. So it just was less frustrating than getting bogged down in just like small aspects of CSS and HTML. So here's my page. Here's my page on Plunker, which is what I originally used to create my Bootstrap. I linked to my Bootstrap here. You can see that. Here, I'll highlight that right there. And it took me a few minutes to figure out how to do that, but once I did, it was pretty easy to tell that it was working. This is my student page. So you can see I created some panels. That was a new thing I tried out with some block quotes. Another new thing. I put in some radio buttons so that people could select which reading they wanted to do for this exercise, and I put in some forms. And you can see I have both a save and a submit button here. I'm excited to maybe make this work with JavaScript later on. I wound up thinking a lot about user experience. I decided that I would try to keep things pretty simple and would not add a lot of flourishes because I didn't think that added to the experience for the theoretical student in this exercise. It wasn't really about it looking super pretty. It was just about it being very clear and easy to follow. So I thought a lot about things like, oh, how large should the text boxes be? Because you can modify that very easily. Let me find that. Let's see. So here, videos. Oh, so here, rows 5. You can modify the size of the text boxes where people can type, and people can type as much as they want. Like it's just that it will move down once you go over these lines. And I thought about this because I don't know about you guys, but I have had experiences filling in forms on websites where I'm very frustrated that I can't see my whole answer. But at the same time, from a teaching and learning perspective, I think having a really large text box can be intimidating and make people think that they're supposed to write so much when maybe they just need to write a few sentences. So here, for this larger writing exercise, I have a larger text box. And then, let's see, we can go over to my teacher view for a second. This is my teacher view. So it's a little bit different. I mostly just have sort of notes. I put a little warning in here, so I put that in red. I have citations. I have some lists. And then I have, this is like, oh, some of you may remember that I posted a question to Slack about putting in a sidebar on my student page, and it was interesting. It took me a long time to figure out how to do it, and I never got it working perfectly because I actually think what I wanted to do is not very easy to do in Bootstrap when there's so much content higher up on the page. But it also, because it took so long, it made me think about from a UX perspective, was this actually a good idea to do? And I realized that I was just adding more content for the sake of adding more content, and that I didn't really need it, and there was really no reason for it to be a sidebar. And instead, I decided to make it some sort of optional additional content on the teacher page just to give them another idea of something they might do as a lead-in exercise. And so I also have some notes about how they might choose to use that. And then, so this was probably my biggest sort of fail, although it didn't actually fail. It's just that I learned. You can see all these little red X's right here. You are not supposed to put what these X's say if you hang over them is they say unexpected start tag div in table context caused voodoo mode. And also, let's see, unexpected start tag label in table context caused voodoo mode. It's a little hard to figure out what voodoo mode is, but what it basically means is you are not supposed to have a label in a table, and you're not supposed to have a table in a form. However, that said, it works. I did have to put in some custom CSS to, let's see, you can see, where did I do that? The radio inline padding moves these buttons a little bit so that they line up more nicely because they weren't lining up very well. But let's go back to this. But it does work. I think I have misnamed something because you can select more than one answer, but that would be very easy to fix. At first I had it set so that you can only select one of the buttons. So when I fixed that, I think I overfixed it. and sort of changed them and made them eat like every single individual one a different set of radio buttons. So I need to fix that. I guess and you also, so my idea with this rubric was that a teacher could sort of do part of their grading in this very easy way. They could type in a student name, they could sort of score them on a few things, and I also forgot to add a submit button. I came up with this pretty late last night. It was my sort of last minute thing I wanted to try doing. But I could add the submit button would be very easy to add. And theoretically, I think with JavaScript, I could make this so that it would load to a Google form. So maybe we'll see next week. And then the last thing that was the trickiest for me was actually getting my pages to link. I never figured out how to do that with Plunker. I spent about, 15, 20 minutes looking around, and I was having a really hard time figuring out how my links were actually supposed to work. So instead, I decided to use GitHub, which took another probably 20 or 30 minutes, but I'm really glad I did it because I feel like I learned a lot about using GitHub and that that's a super valuable skill. And for those of you who didn't use that, I'll show you real quick what I did. Here is, I actually downloaded GitHub Desktop, and let me modify this a little bit. And you can see here, let's see, go to it, that I created a repository, and I put in, and after I created the repository, a local repository, I moved my files. I downloaded my files from Plunker and moved them into the local repository. They showed up. I committed them to the master branch. I published them to the master branch, which you do right there. It says something different, but you just sort of click that. Then I went to GitHub on the web. It's possible you can do this from the desktop, but I don't think you can. I went to GitHub on the web, and you go to settings, and you can sort of scroll down and see that your site has been published, and you just add, at the end of it, you just add your file names to see your different pages. So I had named mine student and teacher, so you could just go, and you can see right here, here is, oh wait, I have to do this again, sorry. So let me do that again. So you go to settings right there, and then and you can, here I'll show you, you can scroll down, sorry about that, and you can see that it was published there, and then here's the site. Move this out of the way. And if you scroll down, sorry, and then I was able to put in the links, and that way you can scroll down and you can click through. And you can see that. So that is my project. Looking forward to making this do some more exciting things with JavaScript next week.